Okay. So
So
what I was
Anurag, so
saying,
yeah,
yeah,
I have installed the BPM suite. I have the product, so I installed the BPM suite, and I know that it comes with the SOA suite as well as the OSB, right? I saw it in the installation package.
okay.
So yeah, so I just
So that,
installed, and I'm trying to understand what that is. So this training will, I think, it will help me in understanding it more.
yes, and it's kind of a product which has a like zero code development approach. So it's something at the code level, you don't have to do anything uh, apart from what you have learned already in
Mm-hmm.
OSB, in SOA Suite. You can write services there, but in BPM, you only and only need to leverage them. You only need to make use out of those services in BPM and design workflows. So
Oh, okay, okay.
zero
So
code
we will be
product.
developing services in BPEL and using the services in BPM workflows, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So let me get to the course description here. Oracle BPM to create business architecture project and to model, simulate, implement, plan, deploy, monitor business processes. So just give me a second.
Hello?
I have cut some background noise which was coming. Okay, so this is about the course description that you learn to use Oracle BPM. Now, Oracle BPM version, you are you using 12C?
Oh, yes, 12C only, yes.
Okay, great. So this course is also built on Oracle BPM 12C, and what new things it offers, we are covering that. What older things, we are also covering that, and that's why like I'm giving you the course description here.
Mm-hmm.
The new thing is the business architecture projects. Uh, this is from the perspective of architects, which like in the initial phase, you create business architecture projects, and then down the line, you model, you simulate, implement, play, deploy, and monitor business processes. So everything from the start to the end, we will learn everything. Now, those are the following tools which we are going to use: business process composure, BPM Studio, that is nothing but the J developer, business process
Okay.
workspace, and BAM composure for reports.
BPM Studio is the J developer, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What is
So
business process composer and workspace?
composure is also what do you say, a web-based development tool. So the studio is offline and composure is online. So those tools we are going to learn.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Workspace?
Workspace is the tool which is for the business users. They log in, they have tasks in their inbox, they perform actions on their tasks. Generally, it is for human intervention activities. So,
Okay.
if you want to approve something, you want to
Mm-hmm.
reject, escalate,
Mm-hmm.
those which involve human intervention.
Okay, okay. Got it.
Okay. Okay. So, course target audience, business architects, process analysts, and developers. And I think you have all the prerequisites. But apart from this, you must be familiar with business process modeling concepts. Um some basic you should have modeled some basic business processes before, although not necessarily using BPMN, but something like you must have done initial workflows. It's a
Yeah.
part of design for every process. So that's so course objectives. After completing this course, you should be able to describe business process management life cycle and how various components of the Oracle BPM suite are used, create business architecture projects and run reports, create process models and other artifacts using Oracle Business Process Composer and Oracle BPM Studio, document these business processes, collaborate with others who are working on the same BPM project, and create and implement user tasks, business rules, and service tasks.
We are covering BAM also in this, right?
Yes, covering BAM also.
Okay. Because we are using BAM also, and we are also having ADF. So are we
Yes,
covering the connectivity to ADF and like how we can um, define? Means
yes,
the requirement here is like to develop user interfaces in ADF and from there to call the people services or whatever BPM or whatever.
yes. Definitely, yes. So after completing this course, you should be able to use process clear, trace the logic of the business process, deploy a business process to BPM runtime, participate in a running process, configure process analytics to gather standard or custom-based process metrics, analyze process workload and process performance, create real-time dashboards using BAM, and roll up key performance indicators in business architecture report. So all these are like the course objectives. The thing which you mentioned about the ADF,
Mm-hmm.
it's a separate process. There is a process one which this course is focused on, and then there is process two which is an advance, and um, we we are going to cover this in the last few days, maybe the last week or last 2 weeks. So that shows the application of ADF forms which gets associated with the BPM. So um, I'll, I'll I'll introduce that. So
Okay.
there will be something like which this course has objectives which you can see here, and
Yeah.
there will be something like which you want is specific as an expectation, as a
Mm-hmm.
separate expectation from the course. So
Mm-hmm.
I will be noting that point. I'll be capturing your specific requirements also in a separate note, and
Mm-hmm.
in last few days I'll be covering that also. Okay.
Okay. Great, great. Thank you, Ranura.
Okay. No problem. Okay, so let's get started. So I have this PPT, the BPM Life Cycle and the Oracle BPM Suite. And here is the business process definition. So now we are talking about business process management. So first let's understand what is the business process. So a business process is a set of linked activities performed by people and systems. Just remember that there are people involved here, there are systems involved here. Two things: people oriented, system oriented. So business process is a link of activities, and they are performed by people, or they're performed by systems, so that they deliver some kind of value through a product or through a process. Now it can be to internal customers or it can be to external customers. So who are involved? Internal, external customers are involved, who are getting value, some kind of value. By what? By business processes, which are nothing but a set of linked activities. Those activities are performed either by system or by the people.
What do you mean by the internal customers and external customers here?
Just the customers, I mean, the people for whom you really want to give some value, like your client, your customers. It may be something like the organization is building it for the internal purpose also, not the external customers. So it can be the internal customers also. I mean, there are some internal processes, there are some external projects. So you have a client, right? You have a customer. So that is nothing but the customers which we are talking about. Okay. So characteristics of a business process: it has a beginning, it has an end, time ordering of the task. There are sub-processes. Particular people are there who perform tasks, and crossing of organizational boundaries. So in this one, like it says there, these are the characteristics of the business process. Now, time ordering of the task, sub-processes, particular people who perform the task, and crossing of organizational boundaries is something. Let's cover it in next slides. So a business process is more than a diagram. Everything we do in business has a process, right? So everything you do in your daily life, your any life activity, you can define that particular thing in a process, right? From preparing for the office, going to office, you do a set of activities. You can define that in a process, in a workflow. Similarly, in a business also, anything you do, you can define it in a process, and those are or can be termed as business processes, which describe how an enterprise meets its objective. So processes are never perfect and can always be improved, and processes are much more than your Visio diagram, your Microsoft Visio diagrams The Microsoft Visio was one tool which was used to define workflows, define anything like your
Yeah.
UML cases. So in this one, you can see you have workflow. You can define workflow anytime, but then more than it, the people, the data, the rules, and the metrics, these are all also involved. And these also combinedly say it as or give it as a business process. So it's nothing just only the workflow, it's the people who are giving the input, it's the data which is getting involved, the business rules are there, the metrics which are associated with it. So all this combinedly gives a business process. Now, what are the real world challenges? So organization asks like, why do I use a BPM? And these are the questions which compel, which forces the organization to use uh, a BPM product for its business processes, like um, how to create end-to-end processes joining multiple applications. Why is it so hard to deliver desired customer experience? How do I make my business process more responsive, more agile, and make informed decisions? Why can't it be simpler to connect?
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hi. Uh, so
Hello?
yeah,
Yeah, I think it got disconnected, Anurag.
network problem. But I reconnected it.
Okay.
So, so the real world business processes we were there. Okay. Okay, so in this diagram you can see here there are different organizational units: operation, sales, marketing, manufacturing, finance, and HR. Okay, and there are different processes. So what it means, what I want to show you through this diagram is that processes will span across different organization units. Okay, so companies are generally structured by their vertical organization. Some functions, some discrete functions. Um, every unit performs some discrete functions, right?
Yeah.
So these organization um, um, these organization access their enterprise infrastructure services in the bottom layer you can see. So these organizations they access their infrastructure services also, such as the database, portals, service-oriented architecture, applications, and services. Okay, a lot of things are there in the infrastructure services, but often the processes that are of real value to the company, the core process, are precisely those that span multiple organizations, multiple IT systems, multiple applications, and processes most often break down at the interdepartmental hands-off. What I mean to say here is that when order management process is spanning across operation unit and sales marketing unit, the cooperation is not enough to uh, to make the process successful process. So the flow of the information is from one department to another department is like if you don't have a managed process, you you uh, you it's it's probably going to break the process which you have defined. Any manual process is probably going to break if these organization units don't cooperate, and this happens like most often that in organizations which are big, like I'll give you an example of IBM, big organization, but not so matured um, process are there that one departmental unit doesn't know or um, doesn't uh, is not informed what other department exactly wants through a particular process. So they start communicating, they take time, and by the time they communicate, a lot of time is spent, and eventually, uh, just the communication is not a particular solution. So eventually, that particular process breaks down at little points. So if you have a managed process already in place, um, those you can avoid. So that's why I'm saying that it breaks down at the interdepartmental hands-off, because after a process is handed to the next department, it becomes very difficult to track and manage that particular process. Therefore, you need something like more holistic way to define and manage a business process. One in which your business process is seen as an entity that spans across organization and is managed by a single process instead of set of tasks within individual organizations. So one single process spanning, and you have like the transparency, you have like a control, a governance on that particular process, and it spans to different organization units. So that is why that is how, or that is something business process and management enforces. So real world business process management, what it is actually, and this is the gist. This slide is the gist or the summary of what we are going to see. Let me make it zoom it. Real world business process management. You can see different organization units are here: operations, sales, marketing, manufacturing, finance and HR, and you see a loan process here. Now this loan process has different, it has a workflow, it has a set of activities, some performed by systems, some performed by humans, right? It is giving a value, and what is that value? It processes the loan in a managed way, and it is giving value to the external customers as well as the internal customers. Both are benefiting out of it. So every activity is linked to one or particular um, organization unit, and also these activities leverage your infrastructure services. So this is the real world business process management, and it says that, I mean, this definition is perfect, which says that BPM uses a process centric rather than a functional or organization view of the business. So this is particular. This is something important here. Now, business process management is something for, like, I would say it's something for uh, architects. Architects who who are having a lot of experience down the line about the organization, about the industry, knows what bottlenecks usually occur, or what white spaces. I'm using this term white spaces because these are some gaps which are always there, and which creates technical bottlenecks for the organization in terms of their business processes. So architects have a lot of experience to identify those bottlenecks, and uh, that's why when Oracle introduced this business process management product, or any other organization, if it creates a product like business process management product, it enforces to see everything in the organization in a process centric way. So when we see any organization, we see that, okay, this is the organization, it has various departments, these are the functions of the department, right? And this is the organization unit 1, organization unit 2. I mean, we are looking at the organization by breaking it down to different departments, different units, and what are the function of the units, right? Usually we do like this. But now, if you are jumping into the business process management, BPM, you have to avoid that approach. You have to look any or every organization, your own organization, in a process-centric way. And what is that process-centric way? Um Looking everything as a process. Even your own department, uh, your own IT department where you work, start looking everything around you as a process. Whatever things you do, what process it could be behind that, what process it is there existingly, and what process uh, can fall in future for that particular set of activities which you perform, like do anything on your um, suppose you reimburse something, okay, suppose you claim something, or suppose you um, approve something as a manager, or as a developer. I mean, we do something which is part of the IT. So BPM enables you to manage those white spaces between the departments. So it's like, what are those white spaces? Not these white spaces in the diagram, but it is something. It enables you to avoid the gaps between various departments. It makes the department more close to each other, so that you have that one process, that one process, one governance kind of thing. So BPM is enterprise-wide strategy. It connects people, it connects system, it connects applications, and you can automate, you can manage, you can optimize all your dynamic process, all your dynamic business process, which is spans organization, span system, span applications, and and you create a real business value out of it. Now, this slide this slide shows a sample process and shows like how each of the tasks in the process interact with various vertical organization units and with the infrastructure services which support these organization units. So human interactions are treated just as system level interactions are treated. So BPM system take these process diagrams and turn into uh, executable process applications without imposing changes to underlying systems, giving agility to the change. Um, it offers benefits of process visualization. Uh, you have explicit process modeling with a view to shared business understanding of end-to-end business process. And this is something very essential for improving the process. So what we come to a business process management definition.
One minute, Anurag. Here, when we talk about the process-centric part, so, I can see that we are dealing with multiple departments. I clearly understood what that is. So when a process gets started, when it goes to a user, and what if they take it's completely as asynchronous, right? Here,
Um,
uh,
Asynchronous,
in the
no,
sense
I mean,
they might take a longer time to approve something if for an approval process. So do we send a notification from our process to alert them for the approval? Is there anything like that in here in BPM?
yes, yes, everything is there. I mean,
Uh,
notifications are really required, and they will. So we are just not well, not yet we are talking about the product and product features, but we are just talking about uh, the business processes and business process management. Yes, uh, there will be workflows, there will be everything as a part of what you call sending notification, getting approvals, and
okay, okay.
designing workflows. But it's just a start. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we are just laying out the fundamentals.
Yeah, yeah, I got it. I got it. I got the clear picture of it.
Okay. So this definition, business process management, it's a strategy for managing and improving the performance of the business through continuous optimization of the business process in a closed loop of modeling, execution, and measurement. So this means that it's a cycle, right? It's a cycle of modeling, it's a cycle of execution and measurement activities. So you model them, then you execute it, and then you measure. And then if you find any bottlenecks, you again remodel it, re-execute it, and re-measure it. Now, this goes on like it never stops. Process cannot reach the most perfect stage. It will have always some or the other bottlenecks. So it can be like 99.9% perfect, and can give you the exact 100% value, but can never be like 100% perfect. So that's why it's a closed loop cycle of modeling, execution, and measurement. It's we know now that BPM is a strategy for managing and improving performance of the business through continuous optimization. So we need to optimize again and again all through the way when we have given a business process. So it's not manual optimization which is needed. Like you sit down and after the implementation of the process, start optimizing it. No, hi. Sorry, I'm disconnected again. I
Oh, that's
mean,
okay.
I don't know. This is happening today because it really doesn't happen. I
Okay, okay.
do give my classes in the morning, and um, um, I don't know. If I, okay.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Okay, so BPM benefits are like agility, visibility, efficiency, because it's 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 something like um, it's something like when you are defining a process, automated process, uh, things like changes. When you want to change something, less things get impacted. When you are aware that what are the things which will get impacted, so it becomes agile. Your process becomes agile. So it gives the value of that agility to the organization. Agility enabled by rapid development and adaptable processes built for the change. I mean, these are like, we know that changes are something which will come, and BPM benefits are like when you are defining a particular process, there are reports which will show you that if you are going to change something at some point, what will be the impact at other points also. So we will see that particular report, which shows you the impact analysis report, which we call it.
Oh, okay.
Visibility into the process of operation and performance, efficiency through a streamlined process, and business empowerment. So you get to know the governance feature. So you get more visibility in your process and uh, operation and performance. Now these are for the business users. Developers already knows how agile, how visible, or what is the efficiency it is going to be. But those are for the people who are not so known to the process. Those when they will come to know, or when they are introduced, okay, their organization has built these processes, and they can get visibility into the process down to the lowest level. So it's something they really discover out these benefits then. Now some additional benefits which organization gets, these are like, you can comply with the SLAs, you can improve communication, align business and IT, extending value of legacy application by integrating with legacy application. So these are something SOA benefits. These are because it is built on top of SOA layer. These are something like the SOA benefits with the organization. Now, which processes to manage? Focus. Now when you jump into BPM and you don't know, just you want to use BPM product, and you say, okay, now what? I want to use BPM. I want to use that in my organization, but where do I start with? So your organization's architecture may decide what to implement, right? But if you don't know anything, just focus on uh, organizations' core processes, core business processes that are inefficient or ineffective. And that's why most organizations jump into their core processes, core business processes. Now, core processes can be processes that cross departmental boundaries, that have special exception conditions. They may be regulated or they may be audited, or that are complex or difficult, and they require a lot of human interventions. So these can be those processes, those core processes, uh, because like cross departmental boundaries, because many processes break down at departmental hands-off, as we already discussed, and that's why it is necessary to implement those core processes with process departmental boundaries. Special exception conditions, so that is conditions that remove them from the flow of a normal process. So those exception conditions, if your processes are having, which make those processes um, away from the normal processes, which like those exceptions which is like taking a lot of time, special approvals, or special intervention of some other director of some department um, to 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 approve something, or to escalate to something. So some exception conditions having in the process. Now, those processes which are regulated, like for which compliance with the government or compliance with company policies is required, those processes which are very complex, like they have many steps, many participants, many integration points, which make them prone to error and not easy to scale. Those processes you can catch them. and those processes which require a lot of human interventions. Now, when you don't have BPM and you have processes which require a lot of human intervention, humans are something. Human intervention is some part which is error prone, which takes a lot of time. So if you can automate those processes with the help of a UI using an ADF form or a web form, uh, those processes become eligible for your business process management implementation. Common candidates for the BPM: approval processes, onboarding processes, um, like pre-offer validation, pre-board planning, execution, onboard execution, accounts payable, invoice submission, matching exception handling, dispute management, order to cash, order entity, order entry, fulfillment, invoicing application, warranty tracking, data aggregation for reporting, data content aggregation. These are some of the common candidates for BPM process. If your organization domain falls under these, like if you are going to implement these are available as like process process accelerator by Oracle BPM, and you can refer to them. So apart from this, if you are going to, um, there are we'll discuss about that. There are something called as process accelerators, which are some default processes which Oracle uses for their internal as as internal business processes. So they have given a reference to it, and those are available on Oracle BPM website, so you can refer to them. So business process management summary. BPM is an explicit approach to modeling, to automating, measuring, and improving. These are just the four terms, like the terms which make BPM. So modeling, you have workflows, automating. Uh, when you start removing the manual part and start automating the processes at the points where you used to perform some, or the organization used to perform some manual activities, and then you start measuring them. You create measure points, which we call it here as sample points, because we take the sample at those points. We take the metrics from those points. So we start creating sample points at uh, different points in the business process. And then after measuring them, we identify, okay, these are the areas which still lack in something. So we start improving. We start remodeling them and start improving on those particular areas. So here you get the BPM life cycle. Here is the thing where which shows that who are going to do what. So in the plan phase, in the model phase, your process analyst, your process architect, they jump into. I'm not sure if there are less number of analysts or architects in your organization, and if a developer might be someone who is going to do everything, but it should not be. So in the plan, in the model phase, your analysts jump into, and they firstly they um, design a rough workflow, design your, and we will see these terms. I'm naming these terms like enterprise maps, strategy model, value chains. So they design these things like they lay the foundation, they prepare for the business process. Okay. And then developers implement them, play them, deploy them, and administrator deploy them in the production. Then there are business users who execute them, manage them, and then there are process owners who may be the business users or the architects who monitor and analyze the process. There may be analysts also. BPM goals, these are business driven, these are complete, and they are like based out of best practices. Okay. So what else is doing? So I should have actually. Okay, let me get back to this slide of life cycle later. Now, what I will do here is I'll discuss about this SOA suite and the Oracle BPM suite layered over the SOA suite. So you can see here you have that SOA suite layer, BAM, B2B, EM console, JDeveloper, MDS, SOA infrastructure development.
So what is this MDS, Anurag? I've never dealt with it.
Okay. MDS is a database. It can be a file-based repository also. It's a kind of a repository where you can store your common artifacts or shared artifacts. Suppose you are working on a project, and you store a visual and in the MDS, and another guy wants to use that particular visual. So you store that into the MDS, and another guy may refer it. So it's a shared artifact repository. You can put your shared artifact in there.
So where is that? When we install it, we see it in our server, some folder or something.
When we install it, like for the development, we get to see it as a file-based repository in our own machine. So when you do development in your own machine, we will have a file-based MDS. And when you deploy to the next environment, suppose SIT, there you don't have any file-based MDS. There you have a database-based MDS. And you then transfer all your artifacts which are in the file-based MDS into the database-based MDS.
Okay, but how somebody else can access my artifacts after I deploy?
How is something like it's written in your process implementation document? You should inform the project manager or the technical lead or the architect that these are the artifacts which you are sharing because it is required by other projects also.
Okay. If I want to share some artifacts, that has to be kept common, and so that other projects can also use those, right?
Yes.
Shared. Okay.
It's a shared artifact repository. You can just put some common things there, like suppose the template of the project. So you put them in repository, the development template, and someone wants to start with the BPL process, it may refer to the template first, and then it will start developing the BPL project. So put everything which is like which is like uh, to be shared across different projects.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Once we install, can you just show it to me how I can see that?
Yes,
I
yes,
kind
yes.
of understood logically, but I just want to see how
Okay.
it is in the
Okay.
server and
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Now, BPM, which is layered over SOA suite, doesn't use MDS. It does not use MDS.
It
Only
doesn't use
SOA,
MDS?
yes, only SOA uses MDS. In previous version, in 11G, MDS was used. Now, in BPM 12C, similar thing, like similar to MDS, it's called PAM. You can see in the diagram PAM, uh,
Oh yeah.
Process Manager. Now,
Process
this
what?
is something Process Asset Manager. Asset.
Asset?
So, asset. A double S
AS.
E.
ES. Okay.
So, BPM Business Process Composure is one online tool for developing BPM process, and JDeveloper is one offline tool for developing BPM process. Now,
Yeah.
they both, someone performing or doing something on the composure should be in sync with someone doing something at the studio level. Online and offline should be in sync, and that's why there is a repository called PAM
Oh.
repository,
Okay.
which helps in synchronization of the code. So, composure, some guy doing something at the composure level, and he publishes the changes. Now, those are published to the PAM. Now, when another guy jumps into his JDeveloper, he should check out that particular project out of the PAM. It's kind of a repository. I mean, like SVN
Yes. Yes.
subversion
Yeah.
repository
Yeah. Okay.
or
Okay.
GIT. So, nothing just kind of a repository.
Okay.
Okay. So, BPM Life Cycle and Oracle BPM Suite. So this slide shows Oracle BPM products superimposed on BPM lifecycle. Oracle BPM suite is collection of technology components um, for implementing your um, SOA services and then leveraging them in your workflows. So, um, for example, like your enterprise manager, it provides access to all deployed SOA composites, your service engines, your service components, and also there are some other elements that it provides access to all of these things, right? So SOA
Yeah.
administrators can manage faults. They may retire old deployments. They may deploy new composites, view performance statistics. Now, in administrative view of business process composure, your BPM administrator can create and manage uh, process composure roles. So your administrator, when they log into the composure, BPM composure, they can uh, they can create, they can delete, they can create, they can delete, they can do all these kind of things on the roles. They can they have something called process composure roles, so they can do that. You can release locks on the BPM projects. You can import and delete project templates, and you can enable process player. All this we are going to see what an administrator can do. So in the administrative view of the workspace, BPM administrator can create and manage BPM roles, organization units, which are nothing just virtual organization units, which we need to create because we are building a business process. We are doing a business process management. So we have to create a virtual organization first, and in that virtual organization we have to do everything. So we have to create BPM roles, we have to create organization units, and we have to then create some approval groups which are required for approval. Uh, so administrator in the business process workspace can also update human workflow rules at runtime. So all these are done. So what it actually means is that um, if you see here the planning phase, in the planning phase you use a business process composure. Okay. In the modeling, in implementing, and in playing phase, you can use business process composure. Okay.
Mhm.
In the modeling, in also modeling, implementing, and deploying in the test environments, in this phase of life cycle, you can use Studio. So Studio and Composure can be used in modeling and implementing. But in the planning phase, which is by the architect and the analyst,
It's
Composure
like
can
just
be.
like a just like a Visio diagram. They'll be just designing, right? The
Yes, yes,
workflow. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
In the execution and management phase, business process workspaces is used. Like when business users come into picture, like when management is required, collaborative work is required. Like you you have implemented a business process, and now there are 5 to 6 guys or roles which is required in that particular process. So all those guys come into picture. They collaborate, they log into the workspace, and then they start doing their things. The workspace allows them to start uh, start participating into the process.
Okay.
Okay, and then you have enterprise manager, you have business process composure, and you have business process workspace. So these three things help you to deploy, administer, and manage the business processes. Then you have Oracle BAM composure. You have business composure and you have a process workspace. These three are something which you can use for monitoring and analysis. Okay, especially BAM.
Yeah. Okay.
So what it gives you here is a shared process model because everyone is collaborating, and um, the one guy who is very happy out of these all is the architect because he knows that okay, uh, architect or the analyst you can say, because he knows that what initially I had modeled, everyone from the IT guy to the end users to the process owner, everyone is doing only on that process doing only at that particular area. You know, when you uh, it's like business process composure. When you go and start a process, or do a rough modeling of the process, and that model, from the rough model, evolves and evolves and becomes a matured process. And you know that all other guys like the IT department, end users, and the process owners are only doing work on that process, logging into the composure and doing work on that process in that particular section only. So it's something bringing a shared process model. You are not, or an IT guy or the developer guy is not doing something different on its own, or the end users are not out of sync, or the process owners are not monitoring something different. Everyone is collaborated in one area, in on a particular, in one targeted area. That is where the process is started. And that is what it is showing, a shared process module. Like what you had modeled initially is exactly what you execute in the last. Nothing elsewhere. There is nothing which is lying somewhere else. You model it, the place where you model it exactly. You have to involve everyone to um, to finish it there only, and then execute it. And what is that? That is the business process composure place, which is the area where you model, you implement, and then you execute. Now, these are some slides which will tell you about what is business process composure. Um, it is user friendly, used for process modeling, right? So you see here.
Yeah.
So these all we are going to see down throughout the course, and these are something we'll be seeing again and again. So
Okay.
I'm not going to give you like a uh, because since you have obviously opted for this course, and we will be going through all the sessions. So it's not like for the demo. So I'm not going to describe now what is what.
Okay, I kind of know it on a high level, Anurag. The first slide is showing the workflow, and the second slide is the people, right? The services
Yeah.
that you're going to call from your workflow.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of have a high level understanding, so we can just go fast. That's not a problem. What is this? That's a workspace, business process workspace. Oh, I have
Uh,
not seen that. I have not seen that.
just this one. This one is the
Yeah, this one.
this one
Business
is the
process.
workspace. Yeah. This one is the
Oh, okay.
workspace.
So how do I
Whenever
open this? How do I open this?
uh, everything has a URL like
Yeah.
slash BPM slash workspace, and then you open it. Then slash
Oh,
BPM slash composure, then you open it.
oh,
Yes. And slash BAM um, slash BAM slash composer, then your BAM BAM gets open.
oh, okay, okay. Just like EM, the way the same URL, and instead of EM, we give it as slash BPM slash workspace, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so So these are something which we are going to cover. What I wanted to um, get back to was the slide where how I had to, describe the life cycle. Okay, not this one. This one. The BPM life cycle. So, plan phase during the plan phase, business architects perform high-level analysis and discovery of the business process. So this includes defining goals, objectives, strategies, uh, as well as determining which processes, which services are most strategic. In the model phase, your process analyst, sometimes you can refer them as business analyst also. They are typically responsible for modeling the initial flow of the business and documenting these steps. So I forward that point, like, what about the documents? I was saying that it uses a shared process model approach. Means everything you have to do in one place. What about the documents? Documents are generally prepared and kept somewhere else. So even the document part, you can or you should put into your process activities or the processes. So BPM Composure has that facility where you can put or refer your documents also with each activity, with each process. You can refer to the requirement documents. You can refer to the to implementation documents. You can add description, add notes. So this is somewhat a process analyst must do for the initial flow of the business process. He must also start documenting each step in its initial flow of the business process. Then comes the implementation phase. So process analysts, process architects, and developers can perform additional implementation tasks such as defining business rules. Business rules is something which we are going to learn. We have hands-on on business rules. We have hands-on on human workflow and user forms. So usually developers will need to finalize the implementation of the process. Okay, developers need to finalize the implementation of the process, completing the technical configuration so that process is executable. For example, if the process architects have not defined the human workflow, or if the workflow is complex, developers define the necessary technical components to ensure that the appropriate participants are notified when they have a task to perform. So if the process architects have not created any forms that end users will see when they participate in the process, or the forms are complex, then developers may create those forms. So they also integrate those developers also integrate the process with the backend databases or other systems. Then comes the play phase. In the play phase, process analysts or the process architects can play the process to ensure that your logic is correct and to show the business users how it works. Then the deploy phase, your process analysts, your process architects, and developers can deploy the project to a test environment to see how it appears to the end users. So in this slide, you can see that modeling, implementing, playing, deploying is often an iterative process until your project meets all the requirements. And uh, these become iterative, these should be iterative until this project meets all the requirements, and then comes a deployment phase where you can go on deploying to the production. So after all your implementation work is completed and thoroughly tested, administrators perform some configuration task and project is ready for deployment to the BPM runtime. And this is where your process goes live and becomes available to the end users. And then execute phase is something which comes up. So after the project is deployed, it is used within the business. End users start participating, and whatever automation you have set up occurs automatically. So some of the tasks may be performed by the system, others by the humans, and according to what you have developed. And then manage phase comes. So now project is up and project is running. So administrators need to manage the deployed application to ensure that it is running properly, and if it is not, if there is some issue, to resolve those issues. Okay. Then there is monitor and analyze. So automating um, automating your process will give you or will add some value to your productivity always, right? However, to achieve some desired improvement in the process, it is important for you to monitor it. Uh, so process owners are the people who manage the process flow, uh, task assignment, policies, rules, objectives, and performance. So they are typically responsible for overall supervision of the running business process. So they often use metric analysis tools such as dashboards to understand the current state of the business processes, which are managed. Okay. And then the last is like collaborate. In the middle, it's like collaborate. So it's a key factor in the BPM life cycle, which is collaboration. There may be several process analysts, not several, there may be few process analysts, uh, very few process architects, and a lot of developers. Uh, so um, they may collaborate on a single BPM process models. So developers may need to interact with the process analysts, process architects, with process analysts and process architects, um, so that it, so that you can refine and implement your process model. So process owners are also there. Process owners may review the process model before it goes live. Okay, so all this is like uh, part of your life cycle, and this is what it is. Now we have something called in the BPM, something called the adaptive case management. Why we have such a thing? Because yes. Okay, so why we have such a thing? Because we have something called um, less structured process. I mean, the processes which we don't know actually how to define it. Like many real world processes are less structured and require more flexibility. How do I say it? Like take an example of an insurance company processing your property and casualty claims. So the claims adjuster, the guy, may need to talk to doctors, call in the experts, or speak with the family members. Now, if it is an investigation agency, detectives investigating a crime may need to contact witnesses, look up the criminal records, send evidence to labs to be evaluated, and so on, like this. So there is no set order of tasks, right? We saw business process definition as a set of linked activities. But here in real world processes like these, there is no set order of tasks. In fact, there is no set list of tasks, set list of prescribed tasks, or task order. Um, there's nothing like some prescribed task for it. So for certain kinds of processes, you need more flexibility, and you need to give participants, you need to give those participants the tools they require to accomplish those tasks. But how do they go about it should be left on them. And for these kind of processes, Wackle has given something called as adaptive case management. So case-based process flow. It's a second example here. So this slide shows another sample of what was there in the previous slide. So a given application may have some elements that are highly structured and others that require flexibility. So such BPM processes can leverage adaptive case management process. Now, this is the adaptive case management. So you have case workers which have easy access to data, documents, and audit trails. You have activities that can be performed in any order, and more can be added in real time. Milestones are visible. There are stakeholders which are visible and can be added more in real time. So stakeholders perform appropriate activities required by the need of the case to achieve desired goals. So if like a case has been defined and you are a stakeholder, you can access those cases in which you play a role by going to this workspace, and then there is a section called case management. Okay, but these are something we are not going to cover it because these are for rare processes which are less structured processes. Now we are talking about something which is highly structured process or structured process actually. So
Okay.
that's why I want to give you an overview.
Okay. Okay.
So here I can conclude now that okay, this was like a new session, and that's all from my side. So let's catch up tomorrow. Let's go ahead starting our project. Okay.
Okay. Sure, Anurag.
Okay.
So tomorrow we are like starting half an hour late than today, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. 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 I'll be ready tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Anurag. You too. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. I'll close the call. Bye.